This video demonstrates the difference between a travel booking and a request booking in Concur. So for a simple booking, where you can search online for your travel, you would commence that booking via the travel option in Concur. On the home page in Concur, there is a search section called the Trip Search. This is the online booking tool. So Trip Search and travel are one and the same. So you can search, compare, select and reserve live airfare, accommodation and car hire based on travel dates that you enter into the system. Once it's booked, the itineraries will appear in the upcoming trips section of the travel homepage. Once you enter that information and select the relevant airfares or accommodation, whatever it is that you're booking, you will then move automatically into the request section of Concur. The request section has three segments. The first segment is the request header. It will pre-fill with the travel dates that you've entered in the trip search. You do need to enter the purpose of travel and you need to answer the questions pertaining to risk and insurance. The second part of the request is the segment. So the segments is the airfare, accommodation, car hire and rail. The information will pre-fill into the segments because it's been entered already into the trip search. So that information pre-fills into the segment section of the request. And then the third part of the request is the expenses. The expenses will also pre-fill from the trip search. In other words, any accommodation, car hire or airfare that you've booked will pre-fill into the expense section. You will be required, however, to allocate those expenses to the relevant BU, PG and account code. You also need to add and allocate any additional anticipated travel expenses to the correct business unit, project grant and account code. It is mandatory to allocate the expenses. You cannot submit the booking until you have allocated the expenses. Once you have entered the expenses and allocated and submitted, you are unable to change the expense allocation. So the allocation is really important because it cannot be changed once submitted. So it's probably best to get that information prior to commencing the booking, and then that will only take you a few minutes to search your trip details, complete the request information, allocate the expenses and submit. So that is a travel booking. So when you submit for booking or when you submit, it will be automatically to the travel agent. The travel agent in this instance will always be campus. So for travel bookings, it will always be campus management, and it will automatically go to the travel agent and it will automatically be sent, the detail will be sent back to you via the travel agent. So that's the travel booking. The only other thing to add here would be that the booking fee is minimal. It's a nominal fee and it is incurred by the central administration. You can also book domestic and international via this section. So via travel, trip search, you can book domestic and international. The domestic will automatically be approved, so it's auto approval. If it's international, then it will go through the approval process. So that's the travel booking. The request booking is really for complex bookings or where you require agency assistance. So you complete the request information. So you would enter the header information with the travel dates and the purpose, answer the risk and insurance assessment questions, enter the segment information, so the airfare, accommodation, car hire, the dates and times that you would prefer. You then submit submit it to the travel agent for a proposal. This request will go to one travel agent that you have nominated, so it's either campus travel or tertiary travel or STA. So one request will go to one travel agent. If you want another proposal or a quote, then you must complete another request. Once you submit for proposal, it will then the proposal will then be sent back to you. So when you go into Concur, the status will change and you'll see that there is a proposal sitting in there waiting for you to choose. The proposal, when you select the proposal that you're wanting, so the proposal will actually have 3 choices from the one agent. So one proposal from one agent, but it has 3 choices. The choices will be varied by perhaps date, time, and airline, and cost. So there will be a slight variation perhaps, and they will give you a choice of 3, and then you choose the one that suits you best. That information, the expenses, will pre-fill into the expenses section of the request. However, you will need to allocate those expenses. So you'll need to allocate to the BUPG and account code. You also need to add as well any additional anticipated expenses and allocate those expenses. And again, you cannot submit the booking, the final booking, unless the expenses have been allocated. Once it's submitted, you will not be able to change the allocation. So once you have allocated the expenses, you then submit for booking. So that will be the final step in this process. It will go to the travel agent and they will process the tickets for you. There is a booking fee for using this process, the request process. The booking fee will be charged to the BU and PG. So it is suggested that, recommended that you use travel where possible to minimise costs, but where deemed necessary, you can use a request. Bear in mind that the booking fee is charged to the BU and PG. And this distinguishes the difference between a travel and a request in Concur.